Way back in 1965 or 66, I was watching this TV show called Shindig, and they said, we'd like to bring out somebody who's been a big influence on us. And this big black guy comes up, and he starts playing harmonica, and I jumped up and said, I want to do that. And so for my next birthday, my father got me a grab bag with a bunch of different things in them. And one of the things in it was a harmonica. And I've literally been playing harmonica ever since. Blues started in the South, acoustically, of course, before there was electricity, and it came from a bunch of different influences, combinations of country music, Irish music, and all that, but a lot of stuff from Africa, a lot of the rhythm, a lot of the accents, and the 2 and the 4. And so when blacks moved from the South up to the North, there were a lot more people. It became electrified and became what was called Chicago blues. And Howlin' Wolf, who had started in the South, moved to Chicago, and he and Muddy Waters and Little Walter and a couple of other people put down the foundation of what's called Chicago blues and what became the foundation of rock and roll. I love a number of things about playing the blues. One, I love blues music. I mean, I love all different types of music, but the blues gets to me inside. It speaks to me. The tones, the way the instruments interact, the sounds. You know, it speaks to me. You know, musicians very often talk about when someone's playing, they go, "Tell it, brother, tell it," you know, and it's a vocal thing. It's this connection. I love music where the instruments have this vocal sound. I also love the feeling of playing the blues. Like a lot of people think blues is depressing, sad music. And I go, why would people go to a club to hear sad music and be depressed and sad? That's not why they go out. They go out because it's cathartic. It's because you give your life over, you give your energy over, and it's a relief. I love the interaction between musicians. One of the things I love playing with this band, for example, is the way we listen to each other and play with each other and off of each other. Yeah, we have basic arrangements, but there's a lot of room for what's called improvisation, for us to do different things. Sometimes we make mistakes. But that's part of the process. I also love the interaction between musician and audience. Ideally, we put out energy. You get that energy, you clap, you dance, you shout, you know, all that type of stuff, and it gives us energy and becomes a feedback loop. That's a very important part of the process of being a musician. And so those are things that I love about playing blues specifically, but I think all musicians love that about playing music. They love this interaction and this ability to produce something that brings people together and takes them somewhere else. And that's the beauty of music. That's the beauty of music.
You know, but I don't know where to scratch. Yeah, I'm in trouble. I don't know where to scratch. Help me. Come on, help me scratch my back.
I know of no culture, and I taught world history and all that stuff and studied a lot of culture. I know of no culture that doesn't have music. I know of no culture that doesn't have some form of singing, some form of working with instruments. It's one of the things it means to be human. We get to create this magic thing called music and share it with each other. And you know, there's been no major political or religious or social activity without music.
Whiskey in her coffee, like whiskey in her tea. She likes whiskey in her whiskey. Oh, and the rest of me, she's a whiskey drinking woman. Girke, ladies and gentlemen.
The gospel tradition and the blues tradition are very close. In fact, there were a number of early bluesmen who were also preachers. Reverend Girke-Davis, who was a great bluesman and also a great reverend and all that. Son House. And there was those types of things. And when gospel became recorded and became popular, the harmonies on gospel music, on gospel records and in churches, that became center stage, and gospel choirs became important. One difference between gospel and blues, I think, in recorded sense, gospel is often a choir. It's often a group of people singing together, doing harmonies and melodies and all that. Blues, has some backup singing and some group stuff, but it's largely an individual person. So blues led to rock and roll. Doo-wop was out of gospel, and together doo-wop, gospel, blues, and all that developed this thing in the late 1940s and late 1950s that we now think of as rock and roll. You think of some of the early rock and roll icons, Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry started out as a blues man. Elvis Presley, his first hit was Arthur Crudup's That's All Right Mama, a blues song, you know, and he crossed over, and suddenly people were playing that music and becoming very, very popular. And you take groups like the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, they started as blues bands, and then they developed into rock and roll. So blues is the roots of rock and roll. One of the things that music does is enables people to express feelings and to, how can I put this, to climb beyond where they are, to get somewhere else. And that's why every culture has music, and every culture has some type of folk music or working class music, the music of peasants, the music of the poor people, because you need to be lifted up. One of the things about the work song, if the work song was communal, like someone would say, don't you mind people grinning in your face? And people would clap together, don't mind people grinning in your face. Then they would sing together, just bear this in mind. The group would sing. I said, ooh, friend, it's hard to find. Don't you mind people grinning in your face? And in that communal working, in the work song, it helps set a rhythm so you can do the tasks you have to do together. But it also binds people together, and it makes them part of, you know, I'm not just this worker by myself. I'm one amongst many working together, and together we can get things done. So, and every culture has some form of work song, some form of folk song where they do that together, because humans need that. Humans need a society, and humans need things that draw societies together. Music is one of the things that draws society together.
One more time, Roger.
There are lots of things that draw people together. Music is one of the things that draws people together. Sports can often do that. You know, come on, we're Eagles fans, right? I'm an Eagles fan and all that. And you have the craziness. You know, the word fan comes from fanatic. You know, crazy devotion and all that. That's where the word fan comes from. And so sports is one of those things. Religion is one of those things. Celebrations, holidays. You know, humans need things to draw them together to help each other, because humans can't live by themselves in this world. We need things that draw societies together, that hold societies together. Rituals, you know, holidays. Holiday originally meant holy day. And it was a day in which the whole community came together to celebrate something. You know, and again, every culture has holidays. You know, I know of no culture that has no holidays. So those are things that do it. So sports can do and all that. There are a lot of things that draw people together. My particular favorite thing is music, but I'm also a sports fan. You know, arts, you know, making things, producing things and all that. So those are all things that draw people together.
Talk to the people, Roger. I wish you well.
Well, the Mississippi Southern, Mississippi River goes from, Minnesota all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. And a lot of people come from Mississippi. Mississippi had a large black population. A large part of that population moved north and all that. So Mississippi is mentioned in a whole bunch of songs that are Southern based, a whole bunch of blues songs, and Dancing in the Mississippi Mud, along the Mississippi and the creeks and all that. That's where people from the Baptist religion, Baptists got baptized in the river or in the creek and all that. So it's been a very important part. And water has always been significant in human cultures, particularly in civilizations, because without water, we tend to die. And so we build our cultures and our cities and things around waters, you know. So yeah, and so there are tons of songs about water.
Well, they say there's a silver lining in every dark cloud. Well, they say there's a silver lining, oh, in every dark cloud. Well, I'm hoping and waiting for my silver line to come around. Oh, you know you can bet on the horses. Go down to your favorite casino too. You gotta bet on the horses. Oh, go down to your casino too. Well, I'm waiting and hoping for my silver line to come on through. Well, I'm waiting on my silver line. 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 Well, I'm waiting and hoping for my silver line to come around. Hey, Joey.
Yeah, a lot of the songs tell particular stories. There's a tradition called the ballad, which is the story of one person or a group of people over various verses, and that tells the story. And there are also stories in particular songs. There are some songs that people do. One of the things about the blues is like if, let's say I come up with a song, and I play it at a juke joint or a bar and all that type of stuff, and you come out and you like that song, you go back to your house, you mess around with it, and then you're playing a job somewhere, and it becomes your song. And then somebody else hears that and takes it and does something else with it. So that's part of the tradition. And so some of the lyrics are often the same. You know, there are tons of blues songs that have, I woke up this morning feeling bad or whatever and all that stuff. And one, I worry about blues when you wake up in the morning, you're out playing till 2 o'clock in the morning. You ain't waking up early in the morning for the most part. But those are lyrics that get passed on, kind of an oral tradition. And there's certain things, but there are also some things that tell specific stories about specific places and specific people. And so, yeah, and there are certain lyrics that that get mentioned again and again and again. Again, I woke up this morning, my baby done left me. I'm so sad to be lonely, so sad to be alone. And so, yeah, those are lyrics that just get passed on and passed on.
So hard, just making honest buck. Well, I'm waiting and hoping for my silver line to come around. Well, I'm waiting on my silver line, waiting on my silver line. Well, I'm waiting on my silver line. Come around.
Music matters. I've been playing music since I've been about 15 or 16 years old. I will play music until I can no longer play music. And if I can't sing, I'll hum. Because I have to make music. That's simply who I am. And I hope that part of my legacy is the joy of music and the way music can draw people together and bring people together. Like we're here at a club, we're going to do a jam session, and that's a very simple but a very incredibly important thing. People come out to hear music. People come out, take part of their day, part of their time, part of their income, and say, I want this experience. I need this experience. And lots of jam sessions, they're called jam sessions because people come to make music, not just to listen to it, but to make music. And we will see a whole bunch of people today making music. That's phenomenal. That is amazing. And out of all of this, we'll be together as a community. And for the couple of hours we're here, this is a sacred space. And I want my legacy to be that I played music, gave music to people, got music from people, and was an important part, even in some minor, minor way, of keeping the importance of music, specifically blues, but all music, alive and around, and sharing the joy of that. That's part of my legacy. Oh, God.